Alright, folks. So let's go ahead and get started here. Oh, snap. I'm on the screen now. Oh, I gotta look over here. Okay. Alright. Welcome, everybody, to At World's Edge, the Fantasy Lore Podcast. What we're going to be doing today is a little bit different. I'm going to be starting a campaign in Warhammer Total War III. I will not be playing for difficulty because I'm trying to play to go through the lore of a particular race.
Blessings, yes.
In today's live stream, we're going to go with the Dwarfs of the Karaz-Ankor, specifically those under Thorek Ironbrow. Now, Thorek Ironbrow, for those of you who don't know, is the rune lord of Karak Azul, which is the southernmost dwarven hold, and the one actually most renowned for forging weapons. I do need to get the settings, because I'm not going to be doing it on very hard, because I want to be able to play the game. Enable diplomacy. Okay. Not doing endgame scenarios. I'm going to do sea lanes. Actually, I'm not going to do sea lanes. You know why? Because I'm going to do sea lanes. There are actually parts of the Warhammer world that are connected by sea lanes that are under the ground, especially for dwarves, such as the Sea of Claws being connected to the Darklands. Obviously, the sea lane that connects the east to west of the map is pretty much just because it's difficult to otherwise get from the east to west of the map, but that's okay. We'll just say from a lore perspective that folks are sailing west from Lustria. So Thorek Ironbrow does differ from many of his peers, and by peers I'm talking about other rune lords of his age, in that he's not solitary. Many, like Crag the Grim, who is of course the rune lord of Karaz-Karak, live almost entirely in their workshops and very rarely venture out. This isn't because of cowardice or a lack of desire to go out, but it's more of a strong belief that only by continuing to study the works of their ancestors will they be successful. And this isn't a new, post-Golden Age, or post-Silver Age, rather, kind of viewpoint. This is pretty common for rune lords all throughout the Dwarven history. So, with that, Thorek Ironbrow does tend to venture out further even than many kings or princes themselves, because he's trying to recover ancient artifacts from all over the world that have been stolen from Dwarven keeps, but also he believes that by discovering the paths of the ancestors, he'll be able to recover the Dwarven race as a whole. And to an extent, I guess he was pretty much on track. Actually, in the end times, when he is killed, he is not just kind of dathering around. He's actually in the doldrum of Valea, which ends up being the place where Valea had stored herself in a state of hibernation until the time when she would awaken and save the Dwarven race. Ultimately, Valea was consumed by Nagash as the first true god that he would consume, and so her belief that she would come back and save the dwarfs obviously did not come to pass, but it's an interesting thought experiment. Had Thorek gotten there just days earlier, rather than almost at the same time as Neferata, would he have been able to free Valea, and had Valea rejoined the dwarfs? What would that have looked like for the story? Obviously, we'll never know. The end times is, of course, canon, but it's fun to wonder, what if? Let's see what this says. In the farthest reaches of the world, beyond the haunted tomb cities of Nehekara, is a land of unspoiled jungle and swamp, once isolated from the world for uncounted centuries. More recently, the Southlands has been home to several of the world's races, sailing to its shores, though few leave with anything other than tales of misery and death. Even those who find the foothold far enough from the interests of the cold-blooded lizardmen, this is a wilderness where invaders quickly become the invaded, and where hunters quickly become the prey. So despite the fact that Karaz-Karak and Karak 8 Peaks are the most prosperous dwarf holds at various times in history. They are not the birthplace of the dwarfs. The dwarfs are actually born or first arise after being created by the Old Ones in or about Karak Zorn, which is the starting location for Thoric Ironbrow. The story with Karak Zorn is that it's called the Lost Hold, as in it hasn't had any direct contact with the outside world in about 4 millennia by the time of the end times. The last record we have of it from the Dwarfen side is that there were regular messages that were expected to be received at the court of Karaza Karak during the War of Vengeance from Karak Zorn. Obviously, we know that the main character that we get from Karak Zorn in that story is actually a Tzeentchian imposter, the Changeling, possibly. I apologize. We know it's not the Changeling. It is a Tzeentchian Greater Demon, who we had met earlier in the story and whose name I'm forgetting right at the moment. But he did impersonate a Thane of Karak Zorn and then journey northwards. He probably chose Karak Zorn because it would be someplace that would be so exotic and so far out of range that there wouldn't really be any communication between the two, between the Karaz-Ankor and Karak Zorn. Even 2,500 years later, after the birth of Sigmar, so 4,500 years after that, Karak Zorn is considered a legend, and no longer, and it may be a living hold that's just out of contact, much like the Norse dwarves were only a few centuries ago, or it could be a fallen hold, like those of the Zorno's Cool, which of course became the Chaos Dwarfs, or it could have simply fallen. The implication in the lore from the Lizardman book is that the Lizardmen and dwarfs fought, and the dwarfs lost. We don't know this for certain, it's not very clear, but it does seem to be the case. And it looks like the story of Thoric Ironbrow in this game takes place in that quest for Karak Zorn. Alright. In King Cazador's name, I will unearth the lost relics of our ancestors and bring glory to the Dawi once more. King Cazador is the king of Karak Azul. Remember, Thoric Ironbrow is not a king. He is a rune lord. And so he does serve a king, and that king is King Cazador, mostly famous for the loss of his family to Gorfag Rotgut of Kazakh Draz, better known as Black Crag. Okay, so according to the game, our goals in this particular mission are to seek out artifacts, which makes sense in the context of Thoric Ironbrow. It's to... Alright, Age of Reckoning, of course, it's still the Age of Reckoning, because the High King, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, has declared it so. Complete our Book of Grudges, just like all dwarfs. Thoric Ironbrow does like his grudges. And we can use the Underway. Okay. So it looks like we have, at some point before this story began, set up camp at Karak Zorn. This is in the south, as I said earlier, and it is a ruined hold. It is not an active hold of the Dawi. But it looks like Thoric Ironbrow has set himself back up there, and he has been, in the meantime, ambushed by some of the more greenskin variety denizens of that area, namely the Mount Arachnos spider orcs.
Ready.
So we're going to have our court joined, and then we're going to go to war with this guy. Why would that do that? I don't see any reason to do that. That's dumb. That was rough. Okay, so as a rule, just so you know, my playstyle in these videos is not going to be to fight every battle. I don't see any particular reason to do that, and I don't really enjoy watching people play Total War in battle mode, so I won't be doing that. But I will, of course, show you the fights as I come to them, and if they are very, very tough, so I honestly should have fought the Pyrrhic victory there, because that was Mondo dumb. There's no reason for that matchup of forces to be a Pyrrhic victory. But, you know, it is what it is, and that's the rules I set up. Like all dwarves, I am stubborn. Okay. Our tech tree is based on the kinds of social, economic, and military factors that make up the dwarves. I don't have any dwarves near me, so I'm not going to do that one yet. In fact, mostly I'm going to be marching, especially through these mountain passes. So we will go ahead and segment this up. A rolling dwarf song contains many verses and a constant rhythm used to keep in step and up to pace. So this will make me a little bit faster, which is great. I actually did record a Dwarfen marching song, badly, I'm certain, and you can find that in my list of shorts.
Rune Lord of Garagazel.
Alright, as a Rune Lord, I want him to be super good with his runes.
Tried and tested.
I also need more magic items, so let's do that. I'm going to get a little bit of a lay of the land for the diplomacy here. Thoric Ironbrow is known as a particularly undiplomatic dwarf, more so even than his peers, though when it comes down to it, the most diplomatic dwarf you're probably going to find is going to be the High King, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and he's obviously not in the story that we're playing. Apologies, I'm sure that was loud on the mic. Let's see. Okay. So far separated from the rest of my subjects, your position is uniquely vulnerable. So too am I, left in Karak Azul without the aid of my greatest rune lord. As we stand defiant against the threat of the vile greenskins and the repulsive Skaven scourge, it is clear our strength must be combined if we are to withstand the advances and ensure the great hold of Karak Azul does not fall. Okay, so this is focusing on the fact that whenever Thoric Ironbrow is out of the hold and is out adventuring like this, he's not in a position to support his king, which is his, as a dwarf, your primary objective is, of course, to satisfy the oaths of allegiance you have to the various other holds and clans in your society. That said, Thoric Ironbrow as a rune lord, the Runesmiths Guild in general has a huge range of autonomy compared to other dwarven sectors of the of society and the economy. So it's not that surprising that he would be both permitted and in fact encouraged to run off and do these kinds of excursions. But that said, it does leave his king without the support of the chief runesmith amongst his people, which is a huge problem because the runes are really the source of dwarven strength. Alright, I need one more turn of camping to get my strength back. Actually, let's build some of these guys to watch my artillery. Every unit in the Dwarfen army represents a particular segment of their economy, and of their society. I'm sorry, not their economy. Dwarfen warriors are actually clansmen, so they're the citizen soldiery of the Dwarfen holds. Every clan is required to support their king when they declare war, either for the defense or offense of their hold, and that's where these Dwarfen warriors come from. Miners are exactly what they say. They're miners, much like miners in our world. They ply the depths of the earth in order to obtain mineral wealth. All right. So it looks like in this particular iteration of Warhammer, the dwarfs in the distant past arose from Karak Zorn And then Grungni ordered them to march north, which they did in their own great migration. They went along the World's Edge Mountains, founding hold after hold, some small, some large, until they reached the World's Edge Mountains, which begin about here. It looks like we are recreating that journey just in microcosm, because, of course, we aren't. We are not fleeing the start of chaos, nor are we trying to expand the race. So that's where we are. That's what we are doing in this particular moment. I've just built the Hall of the Runestones of the Upland Plateau, etched in barely decipherable runic Khazalid. Khazalid is the speech of the dwarfs. Time-worn runestones chronicle Karakzorn's ancient and tumultuous past. I don't know if I would describe what we know of their story as tumultuous, but they're certainly welcome to describe it that way if they'd like. The dwarfs awoke in or around Karakzorn with their ancestor gods, Valea, Grimnir, and Grungni, and as well as their brother Gazul. And then they led the dwarven race, after Grungni had a dream telling him to do so, up and north through the mountains like we just described. That was all before the coming of chaos. I'm not entirely certain there was a lot of tumult before, but we really don't know from that time because it was so long ago. But essentially we are in the birthplace of the dwarves, and those runestones would make sense. It would also make sense that there would be something of a historical significance to Karakzorn. Now, not all dwarves did leave Karakzorn and venture north. We do know that some dwarves did not heed Grungni's advice, and it doesn't sound like he begrudged them this. It just sounds like that was not the direction they chose to go, and so they parted ways, with the majority of the dwarven race heading north. Karakzorn would maintain connections with the rest of the Karazankor until, well, very far into... It looks like the bowmen of Orion have upset me in some way. So it is time to fight them. A pity, because that really wasn't the direction I was looking to go. But sure, that's what we'll do right now. Okay, what can I build? Nothing yet. Build some more of these guys. Let's go ahead and set up some diplomacy and also societal growth. Nothing diplomatically to do, which makes sense. This area, while it's called the Thunder Bowl in the terms of the Warhammer Total War universe, in the lore, it's actually a pretty sparsely populated area. There are Southlands lizardmen there. Southlands lizardmen being largely defined by their lack of very powerful Slann, and their increased focus on skink cohorts rather than Saurus ones. Additionally, there are some Manish colonies. There are some Tomb Kings up near pretty much where we are. That seems to be accurate. Raestra is the farthest south of the Tomb King cities, and it actually has some theming that makes it very similar to the Lizardmen, with the motifs of lizards and a lot of gold and such being part of their style. Alright, so we want to do this one right now. Do I have any other? I don't. What's this going to do for me? This will allow me to recruit Longbeards. Okay, Longbeards are good. Alright, dwarf grinding stones are always perfectly round and decorated with geometric scrawls and runes, usually of Valea's making. Like we talked about, Valea is one of the original four ancestor gods. And she is the goddess of basically the hearth and home. So she's the one who protects against magic and malign influences. She is the one you'd pray to for fertility. And in her case, she's attributed to growth, economic, and population development within the Dwarven society. Grungni, just as he would be the primary deity that Thorgrim would worship, or rather, not worship, you don't worship the ancestors, but would be inspired by, as he was the ancestor who taught the dwarfs the art of rune making.
Off we go!
Nice. Alright. And then the other of the two brothers, Grimnir, is the dwarfen ancestor of combat, and he's undergone a bit of a transformation. In the older holds, Grimnir was depicted as an armor-wearing, axe-wielding, shield-wielding dwarf who, in the aspect he was when he fought against the Great Cataclysm of Chaos. However, as that war ran on, Grimnir came to embody the first of the Slayers. He didn't take the oath of the Slayers insofar as he didn't forsake all his ties and go out to go find his death. But he did go and find his death. He realized, much as the elves did, that something had to be done about the influx of magic into the world, especially as it pertained to the gateways at the northern ends of the world. In Grimnir's case, he chose, so the elves chose to establish a vortex, which essentially drew in magic and threw it into a vacuum cleaner from where it could not escape. Grimnir's solution, on the other hand, was to... Good. That was easier than I thought. Normally I avoid these kinds of things. Grimnir's solution was to close the gates, which it's been often said that he ventured into the far north and tried to close that gate, but more recently it's been determined that he may have in fact gone to the middle mountains of the Empire and closed a gate there that had been hitherto unknown to history. So, I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe we'll find some more about that as the Old World progresses, since it does take place in that area. Alright, the Bowmen of Orion are a off-splinter, an exiled group of wood elves that took up, I guess, in the heart of the jungle here at Orion's camp. They are no longer a factor, as I've just eliminated them. So, enough of that. But they are the ones who... They are a wood elf faction that does live down there. They're almost like a dog of war in the story that are wood elf based. Manfred, I have a feeling we are going to be having some words later. Let's see what we can do here. Let's build this guy. Then Thorek, what are we going to do with you? Grogny, okay. So, like we just talked about, Valea, Hearth and Home, is about healing. Grogny is about construction and masonry and crafting, so armor. And Grimnir is about battle, so bravery and combat. We're going to go with Grogny, because I think that's more thematic. And then also, I need to get some more rune power. This guy here is going to make us even stronger. And I'm going to get more magic items, and then we'll do Wrath and Ruin.
Doubtful, and a code bound by runic law.
So that runesmith now, instead of just scouting for me, he's also going to harden my armor. Not also, he's going to harden armor instead. Alright. Well, I didn't intend to take the Heart of the Jungle. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but... is what it is. Sometimes you gotta fight dem elves. The Elgi, as we would call them in Khazalid. You know, the game would have me go north and fight the spider orcs, but I have a feeling that, given that I'm now on Manfred's border, I'm kind of going to have to take him out. He's not the best, and Manfred, like all of the vampire counts, have a propensity for, if you leave them alone, they're just going to get stronger. And this is not talking about from a game perspective alone, while that is true. It's also from a lore perspective. Manfred, in this case, is following his story goal of accumulating more magical knowledge. And in fact, all of the folks down here are kind of doing exactly that. Thorek Ironbrow is accumulating runic lore. Manfred von Karstein is accumulating necromantic lore. Over here, Volkmar the Grim is accumulating necromantic lore because he wants to fight against it. But that's all very much in line with what they do. Ugh, we're going to lose that settlement. We'll kill that guy, but we're going to lose that settlement. And I can't make peace with them. Can I make peace with anybody else? No? Okay. Well, nuts. Alright, let's go back to warfare. Every dwarf practices a trade, but as war is common, each clan readily forms into one or more regiments. That's true. So, much like we just talked about, when it's time for war, you put aside your craft and you go into combat mode. And that's what we expect of all of our dwarfen friends. What are we doing here? Nothing to do with that yet. Alright. For me, I know that some magic items can make your characters virtually immortal, but for me, I vastly prefer to wait until I can get the more expensive ones rather than investing in low-level ones at the beginning of the game. And I feel like this is actually pretty on par for dwarves. We do see evidence in the story of dwarven rune lords and runesmiths bemoaning the quick and easy path of making simple runes versus the artistry of making, runes in a more masterly or masterful fashion. Yeah, I saw that coming. Pain in the butt. So, Warhammer is essentially a story of never-ending conflict. The idea that you would build empires and they wouldn't fall is actually pretty anachronistic to the story in general. Antithetical, not anachronistic, to the story in general. So that's fine. We'll just have to go ahead and kill that guy now. And then I guess we'll try to take his lands, because again, we are trying to expand northward. We're finding artifacts. We're not building an empire, but we are finding artifacts that we need in order to restore the dwarven race to a position of authority. Texting me. Okay. Time to pay back.
Always are best.
The spider greenskins for their treachery. You can see here they have a lot of grudges. Grudges are incurred by doing things against the dwarven people. In this case, they invaded that territory and slaughtered all of its inhabitants, so it's very realistic that we would send out an army to face them back. Oh, we just achieved our Anvil of Doom. Very nice. We also got Thoric's rune armor. So the Anvil of Dooms were all created in the distant past. There's some disagreement as to whether they were created by Grungni's hand himself or by Smednir, his son, or even Thugni, his other son. And... interesting. Wait, oh. I didn't think I could take all of these. I thought I had to pick one. Interesting. Okay. Let's make him a little tougher. And this guy, get that. Nope. Yeah, that. So as I said, Anvils of Doom are created by Grungni in the Age of the Ancestors, the distant past, the Golden Age, far beyond the skill of runesmiths nowadays. They have been actually improved over the years, with each runesmith taking on additional characteristics and powers from the various rune lords that have worked on them. Thoric Ironbrows Anvil of Doom is of particular significance. He brings it with him everywhere he goes. He does not usually, in the storyline, have it on a wheeled platform, but that was a regular way of moving Anvils of Doom in the story before him. He was created in the early 2000s, and in the late 1990s and before, Anvils of Doom were moved around on cartoonish-looking platforms, which was fine. That was super fun.
Not. If you want something done right,
Let's make some more Longbeards. I choose to believe that I am upgrading those gentlemen into Longbeard form, or perhaps allowing them to rotate out and go home, because obviously they are craftsmen, not warriors, and their job is not to be here hanging out with me. So we're going to build a dwarf brewery. Beer brewing is one of the primary and most respected industries within the Dwarven peoples, not just the Karazhan core of the mountains, but also the above ground holds. Speaking of which, I will probably get some beer for lunch. Not just beer, obviously, but I will have it with lunch.
the runes of wrath and ruin struck.
Ugh. So unlike the mindless brutality of Khorne, greenskins could make peace with you. There's not any examples that I can... No, there are some examples in lore that I can think of, mostly from goblins, but we can imagine that Orcish lord sent his peace treaty through a goblin envoy. That said, I may regret not making peace with him in the first place. Again, Thorak is not about building empires. He has a very specific goal in mind, and that goal is to recover artifacts. I think I'm going to go here first, actually. Rock. Okay. So now we've entered a new polity here. So firstly, munitions. No. To grow the Everlasting Realms, the guilds need to send subsidies to make settlements of old and new more sustainable. That's absolutely the case. As I said, the guilds are one of the... that the Dwarven society is made up of multiple layers. Clans for how people's family units are organized, and then guilds for how the economic and political structure of the hold is organized. Guilds being, say, people in the same way as our universe. Guilds are people of similar crafts who get together to perfect... I knew this was coming. Bollocks. Alright. Guilds are groups of similar craftspeople who get together and perfect their craft, exchange ideas, corner the market, whatever it is they want to do. That said, though, in Dwarven society, guilds take on an entirely different aspect of... Yeah, I want to be better at war right now. Let's kill these guys first. Sweet. All dead. Dead.
Blame it for the throne! What's up? Iron will.
Manfred's here. Actually, let's not do that, and let's give you a hero.
Yes, by the king's command.
Alright, enough of that. So, in this new area that we've found ourselves in, we had both the spider kingdoms of Mount Arachnos, so the greenskins who worship the spiders of the mountains, and then on the other side of the Charnel Valley, which is the geographic area we just entered. On the other side of that geographic area, I'll just start over when it swings back to my turn.
Such a find!
This area here is called the Charnel Valley. It is so named because it is one of the nicer areas of the Tomb Kings. You notice it has all of these nice little statues. These statues all come alive and attack you. These are the Necrolith Colossuses, or bone giants, that are so famous on the tabletop, and which make such a memorable appearance there. The Charnel Valley is the largest, the most southernmost expanse of the Tomb King Empire, or Tomb King Kingdoms, with Lamia and Nehekara being on this side, along with Makrak and Raestra. Raestra is that Lizardman-themed place I mentioned earlier. It looks like Queen Khalida has taken a bit of a liking to this area, which is fine.
Ready?
We can get along with King Khalida. That's not really a big deal. I do need this gentleman to come visit me. I need several turns to recover my strength. And then I have to go after him, and I have to hope in the meantime he does not go after my homeland, because I don't think he'd fail at this junction. Manfred is a very tough enemy. In the lore, he is the greatest vampire count since Vlad himself, and it's debatable whether or not Vlad or him is greater. Probably the way I would see it, in a physical combat and political sense, Vlad is greater. He's much better at manipulating the people around him. He's also a legendary combatant, even without his invincibility ring, which is kind of cheap, to be entirely frank. Manfred, on the other hand, is all about that magic. He spends his eternal life researching, finding artifacts, trying to essentially become Nagash. He is one of the
What's your orders?
most powerful necromantic forces that we see in the Warhammer universe, and one of its greatest magic users besides. That said, he still has he's hindered by the fact that he's so arrogant that he cannot possibly comprehend not being successful. He tries to actually resurrect Nagash, not for the purpose of saving his master, but for the purpose of having Nagash as in thrall to him, which was never going to happen. You'd have to be enormously arrogant to think that was something that was going to take place, which of course Manfred is, so that makes sense for him. In the end, Manfred is actually the direct reason that the end times fails to be thwarted. The Incarnates, so that is the primary heroes of the end time storyline, actually defeat Archaon, and they get to the center of the chaotic incursion, or the chaos bomb device, whatever it actually is, we're not entirely certain. But what it does is it sucks the world into the realms of chaos, so it seems to be some sort of a relic of the old ones. And in the story, the Incarnates manage to defeat Archaon, defeat his forces around the item itself, and then surround it. This is deep under the Fauschlag, which is the rock that Middenheim is built upon. And they pushed him back, they're shutting this thing down, and then at the very last minute, Manfred comes out and kills the Incarnates, through trickery. He stabs Nagash in the back. Not Nagash, I'm sorry. He stabs... Does he stab? Oh, I want to say... Is it Malekith? No. He stabs one of the incarnates in the back, and then the spell is broken. They're unable to... Techless, that's who it is. They're unable to recover it. The amount of magic missing is just too great, and the world ends. Manfred's, of course, killed by this. It's not entirely certain what he gained from it, or if he was just, you know, doing him. But that was his course of action. He chose to end the world rather than submit to Nagash. And that's who we're facing now. I don't know, this Eric Schlichtman guy is going to come and attack Carrickzorn. Carrickzorn has basically no defenses, so it will probably fall, and I'm going to have to recover it again. Which is the story of the dwarves. We make gains, we lose, and then we have to come back. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like the Conclave is more than happy to sit back and raid. Maybe they were just using this for land. Ultimately, they could have raided me without declaring war. I was busy doing other things, but that's very Manfred, being so arrogant that he doesn't think through the tactical decisions that are in front of him.
We push onward.
All right. I probably need another turn of travel, which is a shame, because again, every step that I don't take, you know what I can do? I can raise another lord to defend my lands here.
Time for the reckoning. Summon me if you dare.
Okay. Done. Summoning that lord there, raising him up, would represent me asking or ordering a lord to take command of that town while I'm gone. Technically, there's always going to be somebody in charge of the town while you're gone. But this is, in the game, obviously that's not the case. By raising him up, that will allow me to have a lord level... There we go. Never mind, that was a waste of money. Eric Schlichtman had a half army there rather than a full one. Manfred has a full one, and in any case, Manfred by himself would be enough to take out that town. Hopefully, I will be enough to take care of him myself, but fingers crossed. It'll be a short game. I'll have to reset and start otherwise. Alright, so I can't make it in... Yeah, fine.
It is time. Let it.
Let's see. So he is not raiding. He marched. This is the difference, by the way. For those of you who are watching because you like Total War III, this is the difference between hard and very hard. Very hard, Manfred would not have allowed that whole situation to take place. Not even a little bit. Alright, I'm starting to see what my economy looks like. Okay, my economy looks okay. That's good. That's good, that's good. Alright, so we're making camp right now. Let's see, am I close enough to attack this city? Probably not. Nope. Alright.
Seeking knowledge.
Another turn, which is fine. We can do this. Then we'll take Kasabar. Kasabar, in all likelihood, is more valuable to Manfred than it is to me. And again, remember, Thorgrim, while he is a consummate warrior, he's not a warlike individual. He's not a king or a thane, and his goal isn't to build empires. His goal is to recover artifacts. But he is very strategic. Attacking Kasabar with the hope that it would draw Manfred away would be logical, and truthfully, Manfred should be back to protect his territory. He's doing some game logic right now, not lore logic, which is fine. I need him out of the way, so I'll take this. I will take both the grudges and the magical artifacts that I find at Kasabar, and I will humiliate Manfred von Karstein in the process with a short follow-up. For that, I will destroy your lands and take all your money. Again, I'm not here to build empires. I don't care if that land was destroyed in the process. Alright. Ugh. The homeland of the dwarves. If I don't recover that, my shame will be never ending. Alright.
Tried and tested.
Pure steel crossbows are precision crafted instruments able to accurately deliver death from afar. The crossbow is among the oldest of dwarf weapons. It's the most respected, and even though there are some definite advantages to the armor-piercing black powder weapons of the Engineers Guild, there is no excuse to not use your crossbows in the eyes of many traditionalist dwarves. Alright, let's see what he has to say to that. Yeah, expected that too. Salvador Von Deal. That is a very fun name to say. Now, the one thing that's a little, not the one thing, there's many things that are silly, but one of the things that's a little sillier is the idea that you have to recover your artifacts, like the Clad Barak. Okay. So he's damaged his... Okay, I could see that being different. So, in some cases, you have to, like, recover your artifacts. And I always find that to be a little bit silly, because why would you need to recover your artifacts? But, okay, this makes sense. He's, you know, it's been damaged, and he needs to recover it. That's fine. No, I'm not doing any of that. Alright. I need the cash more. Which I don't think that he would spend a lot of time replacing things, especially since that town was not, you know, one of his primary objectives. He really just needed to get Manfred off his back, which didn't happen. Manfred then went along and destroyed the Valley of Spiders, but that's okay. We will tag him back. Alright, Manfred. Okay, Manfred did not pop out on this side, which means he's probably coming back through there, which is fine. Take Orion's camp. I'll take Volkmar the Grimm's over there, cleaning up the rest of Manfred's conclave. Grab this back, which will give us another turn of strong recovery, which is good.
Master Rune Lord.
It looks like our economy started to recover as well, which makes sense at this point. We're we do need to get back and recover Karak Zorn. It's our primary reason for being here, and it's a huge mark of shame that especially this particular Rune Lord lost, such a key Dwarfen settlement.
If you want something done right,
okay. Don't care about that. I don't care about that either. Okay. I think at this point, given the state of... So vampire counts, they can't just appear at will, kind of like Dwarfen armies can through the Underway, or Skaven armies. So we are feeling a little secure in that particular settlement. So Kasabar is going to become a pretty big settlement for us. I'm probably going to trade it to Khemri, I think. Because again, no empire building. This is Thoric Ironbrow, not Thorgrim Grudgebearer. So if I can get what I want without having to maintain a huge empire, that's going to work out pretty well for me.
ready?
Oh, Eric.
Drum! Cease! I like it warm.
Trapped between two guys. Oh, Salvador. Oh, never mind. I'm not too worried about that. What about up here? No, Manfred's not up there either. Fascinating.
It's like a furnace.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, still don't care about any of that. Those two Vampire Count's armies we should be able to destroy. Thorgrim Grudgebearer is a massively powerful Rune Lord, and right now I've invested mostly into ways for him to buff his entire army rather than just kind of buffing himself. So he's pretty tough, and he did neglect to face me. Interesting. Let's see, decisions.
Weltering.
I think they know that I'm going to head back towards Karak Zorn. So instead... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's just so annoying.
I like it warm.
Yeah.
Holds for pain.
Another story of the dwarfs. Their legs are short. They can take some time to peer behind you by digging an underway tunnel out, but at the end of the day, they can't attack out from that tunnel straight away. We need to recover, which is represented by the time. No. I mean, yeah, him killing him would have been fine, but I don't want Cetra taking my settlements out here because I need them as bargaining chips. And I don't care about these settlements. They're not Dwarfen. They don't have any historical significance to me. What they do have, however... You gotta be kidding me. This is very obnoxious. Just very obnoxious. Alright, we're gonna go here. And wait. Manfred should not be able to resist me, and in that case, he will come to me first. Alright, the royal clan is entitled to its tithe. The reckoners guarantee the guilds pay up. So a couple of terms in there that are fun. The royal clan refers to the clan of any dwarven hold who is represented by its royal family. Reckoners are a particular job within a clan, within a dwarven hold. They maintain the books of grudges and also debts. And then the guilds, again, we were talking about. Oath gold is an in-game currency. It doesn't really exist in the world as far as I'm aware. Which is not to say it doesn't, it just means I'm not aware. But that said, it would kind of, I guess, be similar to Weregeld. If you're familiar with that concept, or gold that can be used to repay a debt. Alright, well, you know what?
If you want something done right,
It looks like Eric is going to go after
Rune
King of
Lord
Qatar's lands
Caragazo.
now. That's fine. I will absolutely declare war on Satra before I lose Karak Zorn to the Umgi, especially skeleton Umgi. These are humans, of course, in the language of the Dwarfen people. Freaking two kings.
Rumney's
No.
will.
Oh, hell no. I will.
Undringot. Come on.
Manfred, why are you not here? Oh, goodness. Okay. Just. Okay. I don't need this. Now, Setra is an incredibly expansionist king. His goal was to conquer the whole of the world when he was alive. And it seems like... No. Now, Kasabar is very useful to Khemri. I would imagine that they will enjoy it. So let's see if they'll take the trade. That's the kind of thing that I would do. Yes, I need migration. Otherwise, I will have to declare war on Khemri right here and now.
The great king of Mehekala.
No, stop it. I need Karak Zorn. You want Kasabar. That's fine. Oh. Well, perfect. Let's do a trade agreement. And non-aggression, too. Sweet. Well, that was literally the best of all possible worlds. And also the reason I had taken that land in the first place.
Hammer and anvil.
Yes, we will be killing you now.
Vengeance
Freaking
awaits.
Manfred.
Dwarves never tire.
Fine.
By Grundy.
This is horrible. Just horrible.
I'm listening.
No. Again, I like to focus on building the entirety of the army up rather than, and I guess I'm going to need you now, rather than making my lord particularly strong, which I think is going to be the way that a character like Thorek would work. Again, Thorek, not a king, not a great warrior. His big thing is is crafting and making things that are going to endure. And I feel like he would have that. I feel like he would have that approach to military management as well. can't really regret it. I had no choice. No! What is the
Rune Lord.
matter with you?
Kazuk.
Stop it! Oh my god!
By the ancestors, no.
No.
Scores to settle.
Fine. If he fights them, I'm not helping, and I'm hoping he'll get destroyed. No. Yeah, I just have to kill him. I'm done. I'm done with Cetra. Hell with this guy. Truthfully, it would be hard for us and Cetra to get along, because Cetra is a huge pain in the ass. Yes, I could give him Orion. Again, I don't need Orion. That's not helping me at all.
Marvel at my pyramid. Know that you will never achieve such majesty.
Fine.
Very well.
Get out of my land. You freaking cancer.
Perishable.
That was a very quick one.
Bring 'em. Make them pay. I rule everything. No.
Camry. Thank you. How... Oof. That was very frustrating. Thank you, Manfred. You're dead.
Vengeance! For Caracazor! This'll do for starters.
Okay. Good. Now, I don't really need to be at war with you anymore. Truth. Alright, well, that's fine. Okay, so I have divested myself of some of these outward territories, and I have started advancing this way, which, to be fair, I don't believe... Yeah, I'm not looking at anything on that side. I am primarily focused over here and north, so I don't really need to be worrying about that. It's really difficult for me to not try to build empires because I definitely want to, but at the same time I know that I probably shouldn't do that, since it's not the goal of the lore, and that is the purpose of this video. Alright. So, let's go with this guy.
Rune Lord of Caracazon.
No, we're not going to be facing greenskins for a minute. We'll do this. Yay. Yay. Actually, it would be super useful to me. Again, Thoric is a Rune Lord. He is a member of the most ancient guild, and he is an adherent to Grungni. He is going to want to build up not only the dwarfs around him, but also the lands. In playing him, we have that same aspect, or that same goal, which is to grow the realms of the dwarves, not necessarily to aggrandize ourselves.
Tried and tested.
I think we've killed all of Manfred's forces now.
We honor the ancestors.
We have, yay. I think we're gonna have to go to war with those people. Then I don't really care so much about that. Cetra's on my side.
We push onward.
Let's see which way is gonna be better. No, it doesn't matter. Alright, cool. So we're on this way. Who is Liberis at war with? She's at war with the Drakenhof. Not particularly friendly with me. Going to war with her is going to be fine. And easy. Now, why am I going to war with her? Because I have to recover artifacts here. And here. And I'm friends with this guy. So right now, assuming that this friendship holds, my defenses on this side of the world are actually pretty much secure. I don't need anything else from that.
Always our best. Hammer and anvil. Arcane wisdom. For the ancestors.
So would Khemri actually join me in a war against Liberis? Possibly. Possibly. So High Queen Khalida is a loyal adherent to Khemri, so that speaks against it. Additionally, but the other thing is, though, that to consider is that it's taking land away from a Khemrian kingdom, which is against what Cetra is going to be about. But that being said, I'm also not proposing taking anything from there that is from them that is theirs. Khemri is Cetra in particular, but Khemri in general is very jealous of the things that are his. I'm not proposing taking anything that's his. Dwarf treasuries are often as deep as their vaults, which can be very deep. This is a very true statement, and also just speaks to what I was just talking about. Dwarves are covetous, and they take treasures. But, again, Thorek's purpose, he's not a dwarf adventurer, he's not a pirate, he's not Longdrawn. His goal is to recover things that were once dwarfen. So I think if I were approaching diplomacy with Cetra and saying, look, I'm going to be knocking down a wayward monarch of yours, I'm not sure how that would work out. But it would be a possibility. Once it was clear, though, that I wasn't going to turn over those kingdoms back to him or to a tomb king of his choosing, I think then we would have some trouble.
Tried and tested. Attack!
Let's knock out Queen Khalida quickly. Ah, haha. Alright. Let's also put some war stuff on here. Actually... Boom.
So it's war!
It is war. Yes, thank you. Got that. Maroc. Maroc would be actually an interesting place for Thorek to go to. He doesn't respect human crafts, but these crafts are older than he is, even though they are human. And Maroc is the city of craftsmen. So, it remains to be seen how he would feel about that.
Amaranatho! Ronriki!
Well, alright. No, we can't do that. Let's do this. So let's take a look here. No, we have nothing else to build yet. Okay. So you might be asking, why would Thorek Ironbrow take territory at all? He probably... Well, he would take the area of Karak Zorn. And looking at the types of buildings here, it appears that at least in this visualization, so maybe not something that appears regularly in the lore, but it appears that all of Mount Arachnos' mountain range, and also the Charnel Valley, were ancient dwarf holds. Thorek Ironbrow would 100% resettleize resettle an ancient dwarf hold, especially one as illustrious as Karak Zorn. But would he go out and just conquer territory for the memes, as the kids say? Probably not. He probably wouldn't do that.
Axes and hammers!
That's fine. Alright, so we'll take that. What else is up here? Let's go in there. I'm happy to share this land. It might be good to offer a trade in the future. Because I'll take Lamia and Liberas. Lamia being the ancient homeland of Neferata, the first vampire. And Liberas being the capital of this land, though. I guess it's not in the game, but in reality, Liberas would be the capital of Queen Khalida's lands. The Doomglade is an ancient pyramid belonging to the Lizardmen of the Southlands. And over here, the Raisetra is, again, as we described, the very most southern Tomb King city. No. There we go. Maintain our focus on building, and also on the economy. We do kind of need an economy, which we don't have right now. Cool. Let's see what our diplomacy looks like. So we have expanded a bit polity-wise. Obviously, we're now in... We've moved on from the Charnel Valley, and we're now in the eastern side of Arabia or Khemri, of Nehekhara. We've abandoned the Khemrian side, which is fine. I don't really want to fight Cetra. So... Okay. Alright, some fluff there.
Unbending.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch. We're gonna besiege this.
Wrong.
Dang. That was...
Make them pay.
That was a rough... auto fight there. Economy's doing good. I'm not worried about anything over here. No, not enough monies yet. Let's do... we have beer? Yeah, we can do beer. Good lord. Sorry, I was going to answer this text.
What brings you to my mighty forge?
Alright. Oh, okay. I would not mind at all Khemri taking some of the bulk of that fight with the Lizardmen. I feel like that's BS.
With me!
Okay. Let me see what's happening there. Is there a third one? So I think we're going to have to ambush them. And honestly, without the garrison, they're probably going to be pretty easy pickings. But I was unwilling to lose 2 Dwarven heroes, as well as a vastly experienced army, to take that city. I don't believe that was going to happen there.
Back to the forges!
King Messup does not have the ability to take that town, so I'm not worried about him right now. Okay. Let's see. Thorgrim brooks no fools. Hiking decrees. No. We need to be a little more industrious, so we're going to go with some construction, which fits in with our theme of building up the Dawi. You, and then next one we're going to have to build a... I'm checking to see what runes I have ready for construction. But like I said, I'm not building any of these guys yet. 954. Okay. That's fine. That's 3, 504 left. Okay. I don't have a lot of those. Keep in mind, I only have one banner right now. Obviously, these will get more impressive, but I would imagine the night before the battle that Thorek would be able to whip out some nice runic items. Traditionally, in Dwarfen kind of battles, as we see, before a major battle, if the situation seems hopeless or if they just need the additional oomph, Dwarven leaders will pull out runic items that otherwise would be too precious to risk losing. These may be from an ancestral tomb, it may be from their personal stash. Famously, we saw Kurgan Ironbeard gift an ancient runic hammer that was a heirloom of his realm to Sigmar, who was obviously not a dwarf. Rune of Battle, Rune of Dismay, Rune of Sanctuary. Anything else? I don't. Alright, next guy.
For glory's
Troll Slayer. Worship Talisman. Enchanted. Fear. I really do hate deciding what runes to give people. I don't like that much microcosm there. So, I don't mind at all that there's not all that many options right this second. Okay, so that will, however, boost my army significantly. So once they're fully recovered, we'll venture out again. So what else can we say about this area? Ah, there we go. King Kabash broke away. So you'll notice that, unlike other races, all of the Tomb Kings have king or queen attached to them. The reason for this is that the Tomb King lands, much like ancient Greek city-states, were all nominally independent. They were all loyal to the strongest ruler at the time. And, Settra is the strongest ruler currently. And he was, historically, the strongest ruler ever. But he was not indomitable by any stretch of the imagination. Fascinating. Alright, well, either way. That's that. I do want to recover some of those. What? Ah, there we go. Alright. One more of those. And we'll do... Perfect.
Raise the banners! Rest, feast, drink!
Okay. So we did manage to crush the two armies that were opposing to us, which is exactly the kind of thing that dwarves do routinely in the storyline, is set traps. It's not considered dishonorable. Again, they're not Bretonnians. They don't have that sense of honor. The losing thing, or the dishonorable thing, is to lose a battle. Now that said, they're not about going all out and doing backhanded things. But setting a trap is a good tactic. It's not considered backhanded or anything along those lines. So no, you're not, by going into ambush mode, you're not breaking lore. Dwarven cities and Dwarven generals have all been recorded as using those sorts of, there we go, tactics. Notice again, we're following our tradition in this particular playthrough in this army of focusing on building up my armies rather than building up myself as a character. Oh, I should see. How long have I been on here? I have about 30 minutes left on here, and then I have to go do some errands. But I mean, if people like it, if I get some, well, I mean, even if people don't like it, I really don't care that much. I enjoy doing this, so I'll be back.
Hammer and anvil.
All right.
Scores to settle.
We killed plenty. Really? That's such a okay.
Reclaim what was lost. What's up?
Okay. I have 2 pieces of artillery. I do like a goblin hewer. But that's very advanced for him. He is, after all, a traditionalist, so at least in his armies, I'm not going to say for the rest of the game, but in his armies at least, I'm not going to use those. In fact, I think he would mostly focus on longbeards in general. But I will grab a 3rd piece of artillery. So again, he's not against artillery, just kind of against new ideas. Alright. We retrieved the hero's pendant. A fragment of a once powerful Dawi artifact has been secured. When paired with its missing piece, a true relic can at last be reforged. Alrighty. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, okay. It's right here. That will allow us to refuel or reforge Gazul's favored. When we go ahead and reforge stuff, we'll talk about the ancestors. There's a lot going on there. They're good peoples, or good dwarfers. Let's do both of our last runes. So now we have a full suite of runes.
If you want something done
This
right,
gentleman here. That's fine. I think I'm done with him. We're just going to let him do his thing now. Okay, so we've got a lot of money to spend. What can I do over here? I need to shore this up. Cetra's guarding this, which is fine. But I'd really rather not have to worry about it at all. So let's do this. Can't do that. Oh, can I do... No, can't do that. What about over here? I would really rather not. I'd rather do that. Alright. Nothing else. Nothing else there. How's our diplomacy looking? We're doing okay. Nothing special there. Dwarfen neck yoke. How did I... Oh, because my ally got it for me. Yay.
for the price of one.
Good, good. Ooh, Ratan's Collar of Bestial Control. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. A yoked Carnosaur unit will be added to the Regiments of Renown pool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do that then. Now, I gotta tell you, of all of these, this is the one that has the least amount of development as far as the ancestor gods are concerned. According to the game, as far as I'm not sure I've even seen Rattan in the dwarf books themselves, though I haven't read all of the Chronicle 7 ones, so maybe I'll have to do that. But it seems that he has some association with controlling beasts. The dwarves do actually control beasts, with both Karak Zorn having a history of using the great lizards of their territory as beasts of war, and then also the Norse dwarves used creatures from their area, sometimes even chaotic ones, as beasts of burden, and the dwarves of the mountains use both cows, goats, other creatures that can survive both above in the lands above the holds and also underground. So it would make sense that there would be an ancestor god that was associated with animal husbandry. I'm just not particularly familiar with them, so apologies for that. See where we're going now. We're obviously going to take care of Liberus, which is fine. I don't mind. Now that I'm aware that my ally will also give me the things that I want, I'm not too worried about conquering that far south. I'm happy to let Cetra do it. Really, I just want to make sure that I get the gifts of the ancestors returned back to me. And if I do need a particular settlement, then having Liberus and Lamia will give me a good bargaining chip with Cetra later on down the line as we go up north. He still hasn't conquered Raestra yet, so maybe he's just not gonna? I don't know.
No honest work without sweat.
You. That's good. I was gonna say.
On we go! For the ancestors!
You are wrong. You are wrong. There was...
Ancestral!
Just deep healing breath. Thankfully, Khalida hasn't built much there. I don't need to recruit. But I do need to be better at fighting. Because I'm gonna get fighty. No. Jesus. Thank you. Alright. Replenish our army.
Tried and tested. This'll do for starters.
Alright, so Thorak has a full line of artillery. We lost some of those guys. Let's do 3. I think that's fine. Do one of each. We do want to get Garagrim. He would be a good hero to a second army. Garagrim is the son of Ungrim, king of Karak Kadrin, who just recently received a new model for the old world Warhammer game.
Grom!
Alright, so what's going on down in the south? We've got Khemri, who are my bosom buddies. We've got these lizard men, who I don't particularly care about. And they're also on the board with Khemri, not with me. So I think I'm going to put a new general here. Wait till next turn. That's fine, we'll do that. Oh, great, LC. Okay. That's disappointing, but ultimately not unexpected. Now, will he go south and be annoying, or is he going to go east? It's gonna be all the same.
What?
I think we're just gonna let that sit. Unfortunately, I can't afford to lose this army, so...
Demon Slayer! Leave it to me.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna heal for another turn, and then we're gonna venture out. One moment, I need to go check on my dog. He seems to be having some sort of a conniption. Sorry about that. Oh, thank you, Memento. Yeah, they're my favorites. I've tried a lot of other armies, but the Dawi and the Dawi Czar, Chaos Dwarves for you non-stunties out there, have often been just my favorite. Alright, here. So we have to go to the Doomglade. Oof, 2 kings here. What size? Okay. Pretty normal.
Slayer.
We're just going to increase our forces over here. I'm not going to fret too much about it. We'll heal that thing. Okay. Keeping on going. So we've accomplished one of the ancient artifacts that we have reforged, which is each artifact, some of them being from the time of the ancestors, so thousands upon thousands of years in the past. Each one is a unbelievable achievement that no other dwarf would be able to do. But he's been able to do it, not just now, also in previous times in his life. He is one of the few beings in the current world that has forged new master runes, which is something that other dwarves can only dream of.
Raise the banners!
Well, Kabosh, hopefully you are happy with the situation.
It's like a furnace.
So this is a fun little place here. It's disappointing that it doesn't have its have a better lore moniker. So in the lore, the Crater of the Walking Dead is a place where 2 armies of Tomb Kings are fighting eternally, watched on this outer rim by hundreds and hundreds of Hero Titans, which are the magic-wielding or magical-based version of the Necrolith Colossus. But this would be, it's unknown exactly why this happens. My theory would be that it is a crater caused by a warpstone meteor. We already know there was a huge amount of warpstone deposited not too far over here at Cripple Peak. So this is not that far away, especially when you're talking about meteor and comet strikes. So that's a good theory. And if it had, then it would suffuse this area with warpstone, which would essentially mean that those 2 armies, as they're clashing, the magic would just re-knit them back together over and over and over again, eternally fighting and never being able to stop. The other theory, and this one is supported by the Hero Titans nearby, is that these 2 armies are cursed by the gods of the Tomb Kings, of the Kemrians, of the Nekarans, and they are being forced to fight over and over again. Hero Titans are the eyes of the gods, and in theory, they're just essentially watching, kind of like a gladiatorial fight. And that's a fun theory too. I don't hate on that. Yeah, well, Tomb Kings are making no effort to defend themselves, which is, pretty in line with hard and with anything below very hard. Let's give these some runes out. Kill you guys. So this design of anvils can be moved on anything, and there's examples of them just being carried on litters. There's examples of them being carried on platforms like these, on wheels, or just not being carried at all, just being kind of placed on the battlefield and not moved. That would be a little boring for a video game, so I can see why they didn't go with that one. Though traditionally, his sits on a runic platform, not a movable platform. It's not movable in game, unless of course you use a conveyance spell. But neither here nor there. Yay! So the Hall of the Ancestors was again defiled, as it has so many times it seems. So I have to rebuild it again, which is fine. We'll just keep rebuilding it. Grunkney would be happy with us. Strip the runes. Okay. So now our runic magic is going to be just very, very fast. These guys are all good. I want to get rid of them. Alright, keep going. Ooh, darn it. I was supposed to raise more soldiers, and I did not. I like that. I like that theory with the Titans being there as gods. The Hekaran gods would see Warpstone as a threat and would take steps against it. So that's very plausible. Can't do anything there. All right, so it looks like Khalida is back. Never. And she has an anvil, a casket of souls.
Dishonored.
For those of you not familiar, that's essentially the casket from... Why am I blanking on everything today? I'm getting some early onset Alzheimer's here. From Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Ark of the Covenant. Good lord.
To doom, then.
Any heroes? I could recruit a hero. Okay, do that.
Dragon Slayer.
Haven't gotten to take a look at that. There we go. Yeah, we'll do that. This is kind of one of the plateaus in the early game where your character is just above the smaller lords, so they start to get cleaned out. It's almost like extinction level events. Yeah, Maury, I'm on the same page. The armies I have currently, I bought the Tomb Kings and Brett set when they came out in January, and then I bought Dwarfs, and I immediately just scaled up my Dwarfs. I have like 4,000 points now. And the Tomb Kings, I very much like the Arcane Constructs. The reason that I stopped with them is actually because I still can't get any Ushabti with bows, which is just making me so sad. Okay, so I took this, I'm going to take that one, and I think that's going to be it for our sneaky friends. And then I have to go down here and take care of these guys. Is Cetra over there? He's not. But I really don't feel the need to fight them anymore. Where are the things I'm looking for?
The ones who took it will pay with their lives.
Okay.
It has been lost to our people for far too long. I shall punish the thieves who took it. We will reclaim it. It shall be reunited
So we're going
with
north.
the Dowie soon. It has been lost to our people for far too long.
Yeah, we're not going south anymore. If I can make peace with the lizard men, I will, because again, my mission's been achieved. I don't need to conquer the armies of the lizard people. I do, however, need to go north and reconnect with King Cazador of Azul, who I'm sure is hurting for his favorite rune lord being not there. What are you? Get rid of you. And also, I need to reclaim all of those artifacts, which are even now languishing in the hands of people who are unworthy of them. Mm-hmm.
Make them pay! Fight for your own! Claim it for the throne!
Yep, Court of Liberis is gone, which is fine with me. Why don't you over here? Actually, you know what? Why don't you not go over there? You.
The ancestors agree. The Damar's trot drives you on. His way through is down.
No. Just go here. It's fine.
I answer to clan and hold. Own your skills, Dally.
We're gonna go there. Everyone is gonna be A-okay.
They up.
I'll be showing, I have ogres, but I converted them all to Age of Sigmar. Though it really wouldn't be. They're on the same size base, so it really wouldn't be that much of a change. And I do, but I love my dwarves. I'll probably eventually post a video of theming them. I went ahead and went with with Zufbar and Karak Varn as their theming, so they've got a good story to fall back on. Let's see if... Alright, so we've got Khorne now coming up on us. So Khorne is, and I dislike that Khorne is ever able to diplomatically interact with people. Not Khorne in general, but specifically the Khornate faction that I'm running up against, who up at Death Gorge there in the corner, is the army of Skarbrand. Skarbrand, I don't hate in a lore sense that Skarbrand can have an army, because I think he could have an army. It wouldn't be one that he logistically set up and recruited for, but more his raw Khornateness would draw other soldiers to him, other followers of Khorne to him. I think that would be very thematic. But yeah, in this game he has full diplomatic things, and I don't like that. I don't feel like he would ever make peace with anything. I don't think he could ever even stomach the idea of peace with another being, because peace would not be skulls for the skull throne. I mean, he's cursed to constantly fight all day long. You have that. You have that. We don't have enough money. Never have enough money.
All that rock above feels grand.
Join your friend.
Be inspired by a slayer, Darwin.
I really do like the idea of a Carnosaur in a Slayer army. I think that'd be just the best. We're gonna hold off though, because
Just don't get in my way.
the thing is that any of these that are like anything that you can recruit instantly, you don't necessarily want to recruit it when you have the time to sit, simply because you know you may need those in the future. Right, we have about 3 minutes left.
Follow me, lads. Got him. Walls. Good.
Could you maybe not be at war with me? Okay, fine, whatever. You know what, guys? I gave you a chance to not be at war with me. I was so
Quick
benevolent.
about it.
Underway trade caravans. So dwarf holds tend to trade with each other via the underway, which keeps prying us out of Dawi business. Yes and no. Dwarfen holds used to trade in the underway, but that really hasn't been viable for centuries. As the underway was first collapsed during the period directly after the War of Vengeance, during the Goblin Wars and the Age of Strife. And then it's only gotten worse since then. There's been a little bit of an uptick during the time of Thorgrim Grudgebear, which is the period we're in now, but not enough that I would say they actively trade through there. You're as likely as not to lose your caravan to Skaven. Now that said, there are some well-established routes, such as through, maybe from Barakvar to Karaz-Akarak, but even then, I don't think that's accurate information. So this would actually be something that research would make sense for, because we're going to have to learn how to do that, and it'll show an evolution of Dwarven economics and society that we're able to clear the underway and make it usable again. And with that, folks, I think that I'm gonna get to moving. I gotta go do some errands. I'm gonna be in Boston for the next week, so I don't think I'm going to be posting a lot live. I'm going to try and post tomorrow before I leave. But other than that, I had a great time today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Click like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be doing more stuff. Whatever sticks to the wall, I will try to do.